If you're anything like me, you've been looking at all these different stories being reported out there across the nation, locally, whatever it is. Everybody's got an opinion about what's going on in the market, around the market. I'm going to be talking a little bit about what's going on here in Southwest Florida, give you a personal perspective of what we're seeing here. So this video is going to be about living in Florida. Who told you that? Try this. We're getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. And if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is a channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time. And if you want to start your search now and get ahead of it, as though you're using the MLS just like we do, go to ournextfloridahome.com, get started there. You'll be able to search up whatever properties you want in our area. I'm getting calls from people every day, and I absolutely love it. If you're one of those people that has a question that I haven't answered yet, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so we're going to talk just a little bit about the housing market because you know that's where I start every single time. Yes, rates have been up. I saw they slipped back down today to 5.7%. So yeah, a little bit of adjustment. We don't know where they're going to go. Affordability is still the biggest question on everybody's mind. But the one thing that I found is that our median price for homes here is sitting right around $435 for a single family, 3-bed, 2-bath home here in Cape Coral. And if you look at the numbers behind this, there are almost 300 of them under that median price. And if you'll see, they start in the high 2s, low 3s. So you do have opportunities that are here in Cape Coral if this is the area you want to be in. Now, many of the areas that around us tend to escalate in price really quickly, so you just have to be careful where you're looking. Now, affordability scales. There are some reports out there talking about affordability in different areas and across the nation, really. It does state by state. Would you be surprised to know that Florida is number 30 out of 50 on that affordability scale? Yeah. There was a report just a couple weeks ago. I remember them saying, oh, Florida's the most unaffordable place in the country. Well, not according to this report. And they even segmented out housing, and you can see where we've got at least a dozen and a half other states that are higher in housing than we are. So these things all get skewed. It depends what your perspective is. I go from my perspective, what I'm seeing in the market, what I'm seeing happening around me. I'm just showing this report as another opportunity to give you information to help you make decisions. Because when it comes down to it, if it's affordable to you, it doesn't matter who else it's affordable to, does it? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that affordability scale doesn't really take into account the jobs in the area, does it? Well, look, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of good companies that are here. In fact, we have a new Amazon distribution center here. So, one of the largest companies in the world, and they're here. So I don't want to hear about jobs not paying this or jobs not paying that, because when McDonald's is paying $13 to $15 an hour to flip a burger and the managers get somewhere in the 20s per hour, that's a lot of money. Now, I know it's not a lot of money when you have a $350,000 mortgage, but this is a starting point. That's the low end of the pay scale of what's being offered now. So it's a little bit misconstrued because there are a lot of people here that make a lot more money than that. We have plenty of attorneys, accountants, medical field people, real estate people, mortgage people, lots of different opportunities to make money in different ways. So you have to go out and seek them. There's a number of large companies like Chico's and Arthrex that are in our area, Gartner's here, and there's new companies coming all the time. So you have to be on the lookout for these jobs, and you might even be a remote worker, so it won't matter. You bring that remote job here, whatever income you made somewhere else, you're going to make it here. But the point is that there are homes that are well within reach if you're willing to reach. Our job fairs lately are pathetic. People aren't even showing up to these job fairs. So that just tells me that maybe it's not so much about the jobs not being there, but the people just don't want to be there. Another cool thing that I'm seeing happening is our builders now are starting to see inventory. We have inventory available to sell, and the homes are going to finish in the next couple months. The really cool thing is that there's a builder that I've seen in particular that is locking interest rates for you. And if it finishes in a certain amount of time, you can possibly get a 4.75, which according to what we've been seeing going towards 6, 475 sounds like a steal now, doesn't it? Well, they're locking these rates in for you if they close by a certain time. If it happens to extend past that, you can pay a small fee to be able to extend that lock further. But that's a great tool that they're doing, and they're also paying closing costs. Again, there's lots of different ways that you can still go about securing a home, especially when we know that rents are still ridiculous. Housing is still not one of our strong points yet, although we're seeing some of these adjustments like this inventory. If it's something you need, when you move to an area, you need housing, right? If you're not going to rent, you're going to need to buy something. I'm just letting you know there are opportunities here if you are looking for them. Now, solar panels in Florida are all the rage, and you can imagine why. We get sun all the time. So it sounds like a great concept, except for the fact that there's a lot of things you need to take into consideration when you're doing this. Because those panels, most of them are on a loan program that gets attached to your property called a PACE loan. So you're making monthly payments. And when you go to sell your property, that loan doesn't go away. So you're either having to get enough on your home and have enough equity in your home to pay that loan off, or you're going to have to pass that loan on to a willing buyer. That might be a tough ask. The other thing that you're not thinking about is your insurance costs are going to go up because now you have to protect these panels too. If the panels are attached to the house, it'll be part of the home insurance. If they are not attached to the house, if there's another structure they're attached to, you need a separate policy to protect those. And lastly, regarding solar panels, the one other thing that you've got to consider, if it's an older home and you're attaching solar panels, especially with insurances, how sometimes they, are kind of weird with the age of the roof and when it needs to be replaced. If you put those panels on a roof that's going to need replaced in, say, 5 years, you're now going to have to pay to have them removed, to change the roof, and then pay to reinstall them. Does that sound like that great of a deal anymore? I don't understand what these solar programs really are because my electric bills are so low. I've been here for 3 years, 1,800 square feet, 4-bed, 2-bath, and I think my highest electric might have reached 120 now. That's just what it is. It's not expensive. If you have a newer home that has the efficiencies, these newer homes do have efficiencies like the dual pane windows. They put a radiant barrier in the sheathing in the rafters up in the attic, so that helps keep it cooler up there as well. There's a number of things you can do to help make your home more efficient, and then you won't have to worry about high electric bills. Now, new construction homes have a new problem. Also, homes that have been remodeled. There is a breaker box that is now being recalled. These were made between 2020 and 2022. I think it was February 2020 and January 2022. But in this time frame, these breaker boxes were causing fires. So they're recalling all these boxes. And if you're somebody that had a remodel done or you bought a home that was recently remodeled, check the boxes. I'm going to go ahead and give all the information here. There's going to be the codes. There's different codes that are associated with these boxes. If you see any of these codes related to a box that you have, I will also post the name so you have all the information you need. If you have that, go ahead and check in on this recall so that you can keep yourself and your family safe. Now, there's been a lot of rainfall recently, and you might have heard that we had a drought for a long time. Now we're seeing flooding. And there's areas of Cape Coral that are seeing flooding. It's very, very localized. I'm in Cape Coral and I barely have standing water on my street. So it's certain areas that are subjected to this at this point. And there's a storm water fee that is on our taxes. And people are saying, well, wait a second. If I'm paying for storm water to be moved into the places it goes to stay off of my street, like the canals, that's why the canals are there, that stormwater fee also pays for the maintenance of the canals. So if we're paying this in our taxes to have it taken care of, and it's not taken care of, why are we paying the tax? So if you're somebody, I'm sorry if you're subjected to that situation, but these storm waters, they're coming because of the rain falling so much so fast that it just can't handle it. So obviously they're looking at ways that they can circumvent that and overcome it in the future. But I did get a call from Eric and Jen, and Eric was kind of freaking out. He just moved into the house a week ago, and he's in ankle-deep water on his lower level, and he's saying, Craig, what's going on? I've got all this water. There's some sand there. What do I do? So sand is the base of our land here, and I started thinking, okay, if you've got sand coming out with the water in this pipe, maybe it's the broken pipe. So the drain pipe could be broken. And maybe that's what's causing the backup to flood the area. Because the other previous owners don't know anything about it. The agent didn't know anything about it. And I'd like to think the best of people, and maybe they weren't trying to put one over on us. But Eric found the problem. It happened to be at the end of the pipe that drained. Apparently it was stopped up with debris and things that were pushing the water back down the pipe. So if you've got a problem that you're seeing something like this, where the pipes aren't draining, check where it's going in, check where it's supposed to be coming out. Do your due diligence to make sure that the problem is something that you can fix. Maybe not have to call a professional, but worst case, get somebody out there, have it looked at. They can snake those pipes and find out if there is a break and remedy it before it becomes an even bigger problem. Here's another reminder to do your home inspection. And I don't care whether it's a condo or a single family home, heck, even a mobile home if that's what you're getting. I was at an inspection the other day with Rory. He's my top guy. He's the one that I go to all the time. And he found that the ice maker wasn't working on the refrigerator, so he decided to pull the refrigerator out. And when he did, the whole wall had mold on it. And we found out what had happened is there was some kind of a issue with the valve that goes in for the ice maker. And I guess whenever they were pushing the lever for it, it was spraying on the wall. And over time of this happening, it caused that moisture to eventually grow mold. Now it's a remediable issue. It's not something that is going to be life-threatening or an issue of any sort. But he said, hey, I wouldn't have even pulled that out had that ice maker not been working. But what it made me know now is that I'm pulling every refrigerator out no matter what. Something like that, something as small as that, giving you that kind of information. And it doesn't take any time to pull a refrigerator out, but who would have ever thought, right? So do your due diligence, get your inspection done, check all of these things. They check all the appliances, they check the splits of the AC and the heat to make sure that everything's working there. They run all the water and all the faucets, check all the outlets. All these little pieces and parts, even of a condo, need to be checked. So get a professional, get it done. Takes an hour or two, and you'll know that you're at least getting every protection that you can when you're purchasing a new property. All right, so there's this huge community that's being planned in East Lee County. It's supposed to be south of 82 and north of Corkscrew. If anybody knows these areas, there's one thing that you know is they're busy, busy, busy roads. State Route 82 is well known for accidents, and Corkscrew is slammed and jammed because of all the communities that are there. So 10,000 new homes going out there. It's also going to be further from the beaches, so if you're a beach person, this might not be ideal for you. But the bigger problem I'm seeing is that there's 10,000 homes, and the average household has 2 cars. That's 20,000 new vehicles that are going to be riding on these roads. If they're already busy and accident prone in this area, and you're adding 20,000 more, what do you think that's going to do to the area? Just saying, if you're somebody that's looking for a new home, and you want somewhere that you think is going to be the cool new up-and-coming place, this might be cool. It might be new and up and coming, and they might have a lot of great amenities and things out there once they're finished, because with that many homes, you'd figure they would, but also take into consideration all the traffic that's going to come from that new establishment. All right, so I was up in Clearwater last week, as you know, at the baseball tournament, and I had an opportunity to see driving all over the place, on the highways, in Clearwater, in St. Pete, all through Punta Gorda, Northport, down into Cape Coral. And the one thing that's consistent no matter where you go, nobody wants to leave the left lane. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's almost like they're trying to instigate you to see what kind of reaction they can get. If you're somebody that is very amped up on your driving, it's one of your pet peeves, you can't stand by bad drivers, it could be a problem for you. It definitely is something that we have a problem here with, and I wish that we could just get a message out to everybody to move the hell over, because nobody wants to get frustrated and have to zip around to get around you, because we just want to drive a normal speed. We don't want to go the speed limit in the left lane when there's 3 lanes. Now, since we're talking about cars, have you ever been driving down the road and you feel the thump and the bump of somebody's bass and it's kind of going through you and going through your car? That's going to change soon. Thank God. That is one of the most annoying things. That and a super loud exhaust, it's just absolutely unnecessary. Well, they just passed an ordinance that if a police officer can hear your music 25 feet or more away, you could be subject to a ticket of up to $115. Thank you. So, if you like to play your music really loud, if you're a wannabe rapper and you just got to have that boom, boom, boom and pumping through you and losing your hearing and all that, you might want to think twice because it's going to start costing you in your wallet. So scams and theft are a problem, and they're a problem locally and they're a problem nationally. Well, one of the cool things that we noticed the other day as I get my gas at Sam's Club. It's one of the least expensive places that I can get premium gas. It still cost me just under $5 a gallon last time I did it, but I was there and I was speaking to one of the other people that was next to me pumping gas, and they noted they thought it was really nice that they had attendants still at the Sam's Club. So if you have any issues, questions, problems, but here's the other thing, it's also another set of eyes. They're watching what's going on around there. So the chances of a skimmer being put on one of these machines is not likely to happen. It's a lot less likely to happen than it would be, say, at a Wawa's or at a Circle K or 7-Eleven or whatever it would be. Because we do have that problem here. Those skimmers are on there every once in a while, and they're going to take your information off your credit card. So if you want to give yourself a little bit more secure feeling and save yourself a little money, go to Sam's Club. Now this part is ridiculous. I can't even believe this is where we keep going with these trends. TikTok. The newest trend in TikTok is there are people going to beaches and digging massive holes and leaving them open. Yeah, you heard me. What's the sense of this? Because TikTok says that'd be the next cool thing to do? Well, what it's doing is it's causing people to almost fall into these things. And the other thing you may not be thinking about is if wildlife falls in there, say turtles and things like that, and they can't get to where they're supposed to be in their habitat in the sea, they could die. So please don't follow these crappy trends and just to try to be included in something. It's no good. It's only going to hurt somebody and could end up giving you either a fine or some jail time. Think twice about that one. All right, so that's living in Florida. Who told you that? Try this. We're just going to keep sharing this kind of information with you. And if this video didn't answer enough of your questions, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a specific question that you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.